I'm about to tell you something that will probably make you angry at first, but then completely change how you see your life. Most people spend years trying to manifest their dreams, doing affirmations, visualizations, scripting, the whole thing, and they get frustrated because nothing seems to work. But here's what nobody tells you. You've been manifesting perfectly this entire time. You've been creating your reality with laser precision. The problem is you've been manifesting your fears, your doubts, and your limitations instead of your desires. And there's one specific moment, one feeling that separates people who live their dream life from people who just dream about it. Neville Goddard knew exactly what this moment was. And once you understand it, you can't unknow it. Your whole world is about to shift. Here's what Neville said that most people completely gloss over. Feeling is the one and only medium through which ideas are conveyed to the subconscious mind. Notice he didn't say belief, he didn't say repetition, he didn't even say thought. He said feeling. But here's the uncomfortable truth. You're already impressing your subconscious every single day, not with your desires, not with your goals, but with your reactions, with your fear, with that quiet resignation you feel every morning when you wake up and think nothing's changed. That feeling right there, that's what your subconscious accepts as truth. So no matter how many times you visualize your dream life, if you feel like the version of yourself who's still waiting, you haven't moved, and the world keeps handing you more of the same, not because it's punishing you, but because you haven't emotionally stopped being the person who doesn't have it yet. So when does your old life actually end? It's not when the thing arrives. It's not when you finally crack the perfect technique. It's the moment you feel something different and let that new feeling become your emotional home. Think about it like this. Your current life is just a habit. The thoughts you think, the way you react, the things you assume without even realizing it, none of that is who you really are. It's just a pattern you've been running for so long it started to feel like identity. Neville called this the old man, not because of age, but because it's the outdated version of you that's been kept alive through emotional repetition. But here's the powerful truth. The old self ends the moment you emotionally detach from it, not when you fix everything, not when life changes on the outside. It ends when you stop feeling like them, when you stop agreeing emotionally with their story. Step 1, recognize the old self is just a habit. First, you have to see that version of you, the one that worries about the future, doubts your worth, reacts from old wounds, assumes the worst, isn't the real you. It's not fixed. It's not your destiny. It's not even your personality. It's just a collection of emotional habits that got reinforced over time. Think about it like this. If you moved to a different country tomorrow, learned a new language, started a completely different career, and surrounded yourself with entirely new people, would you still be exactly the same person you are today? Of course not. You'd adapt. You'd develop new ways of being, new responses, new assumptions about what's possible. That proves that who you think you are right now is largely circumstantial. It's a response to your environment, your history, your repeated experiences, but it's not permanent. The version of you that struggles, that feels stuck, that can't seem to break through, that's not who you are. That's who you learn to be based on what happened to you and how you interpreted those experiences. But here's the key. You can stop emotionally showing up for that version of yourself. You can start withdrawing your agreement from their story. Every time that old familiar feeling tries to pull you back into the same old reactions, you can pause and say, that's not me anymore. Not because you're trying to be positive or spiritual, but because you're literally choosing a different identity. You're choosing to emotionally divorce yourself from the version of you that accepts limitation as normal. Step 2, feel the new state more deeply than the old one. This is where most people get it completely wrong, and it's why they stay stuck for years. They try to think their way into a new reality. They try to convince themselves or force themselves to believe or visualize harder until they get tired. But Neville said, you must assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Not imagine it, not pretend it, not hope for it. Assume it Live from it. Feel it so naturally that it becomes your new normal. Here's what this actually looks like right now. Close your eyes for a second. Think about something you want. Maybe it's financial freedom. Maybe it's the perfect relationship. Maybe it's the career you've been dreaming about. Now, instead of thinking about getting it, imagine you've had it for 6 months already. It's not new anymore. It's not exciting anymore. It's just normal. It's just your life. How would your breathing change right now if that were true? How would your shoulders feel? What would you not be thinking about anymore? What would you not be checking your phone for? What conversations would you not be having with yourself? Feel into that version of you. Not the one who just got what they wanted and is all excited about it, but the one for whom having what they want is so normal they don't even think about it anymore. That's the feeling you want to cultivate. That settledness, that naturalness, that inner knowing that this is just how things are for you now. Most people are trying to feel grateful for something they don't have yet, or excited about something that might happen someday. But the version of you who already has what you want isn't grateful for it every day. They just live with it. They rest in it. It's their normal. When you can access that feeling, not during a special meditation session, but throughout your day in ordinary moments, when that becomes more familiar to you than your current circumstances, that's when everything starts to shift because you're no longer trying to get somewhere. You're already there emotionally. You're already living from that place internally, and reality has no choice but to catch up to match who you've become. Step 3, cross the emotional line of no return. There's a moment that happens, and it's usually quiet. It doesn't come with fanfare or dramatic music where something inside you shifts permanently. It's not a decision you make with your mind. It's deeper than that. It's like something in your soul just snaps out of agreement with who you used to be. You'll be going about your day, maybe dealing with some old familiar challenge, and suddenly you realize you can't react the same way anymore. Not because you're trying to be different, not because you're following some technique, but because it literally doesn't feel like you anymore. The old story you used to tell yourself suddenly sounds foreign in your own mind. The old fears that used to consume you feel like they belong to someone else. The old patterns that used to run your life just stop working. This is what Neville meant when he talked about persistence. He wasn't talking about forcing yourself to believe something or grinding through resistance. He was talking about persisting in the new feeling and until it becomes so natural that going back to the old way of being becomes impossible. It's like learning to ride a bike. At first, you have to think about every movement, concentrate on balance, really work at it. But once your body learns it, once it becomes natural, you can't unlearn it. You can't go back to not knowing how to ride a bike. That's what happens when you truly embody a new state. You cross an emotional line where the new you isn't something you're trying to become. It's just who you are now. And the old you isn't something you're trying to change. It's something you've outgrown. People might notice that you're different, but they won't be able to put their finger on exactly what changed. You might not even be able to explain it yourself. You just know that something fundamental has shifted and there's no going back. You stop needing validation for your dreams because you're not dreaming anymore. You're living. You stop looking for signs that things are working because you're not waiting for things to work. You know they already are. You stop trying to prove anything to anyone because you're not trying to convince yourself of anything anymore. See, most people are trying to change their life from the outside in. They're waiting for evidence before they feel different. But Neville taught the opposite. You feel different first, then reality adjusts to match. When you stop emotionally identifying with the person who used to live that old life, when the new you stops feeling like a performance and starts feeling like coming home, that's when the shift becomes permanent. You're no longer chasing the dream, you're living it internally, and reality has no choice but to bend to match who you've become. So let me ask you, have you felt that moment yet? The one where the old version of you finally loses its grip? If you have, even for a second, drop a comment below and simply say, I have crossed the line. Let it be your declaration that the shift has already happened, because your new life doesn't wait for perfect conditions. It begins the moment you feel the truth of who you've become and refuse to go back. And remember, you're not trying to become someone new. You're simply remembering who you've always been underneath all those old patterns and stories. I'll see you in the next video, and more importantly, I'll see you